If you're selling your artwork at art fairs, you're filling out applications to juried shows like on Zapplication or any other places online, I'm sure one of the things you're coming across, if you get accepted, is the decision on what type of booth space to purchase. Should you get a single booth, a double booth, or a corner? In this video, I'm going to go over what I've learned of getting all these different types of booths at art fairs over the last 10 years. I sell my work full-time around the Midwest. I sell in person and online, but I love doing art fairs first and foremost. So I've learned a lot along the way, and I'm going to share all of it with you in this video so that way you can figure out which type of booth space is best for you. And first off, single booths. The bad thing about this is people walk by your booth and you only have what's on the front of your booth space. That's 10 feet for people to see. And as people are walking by in front of your booth, it can feel like it goes by really quickly. Like they can almost miss your booth if they blink. The problem with this is a lot of times people come with a large group of people like friends or family, small children, and they can be easily distracted by someone else in their group as they're walking in front of your booth. If you only have 10 feet of time as they're walking to get their attention, sometimes they will miss your booth. They won't even realize it was there. No matter what you do, no matter how great you have your booth looking, all of the deals and the products and the artworks that you've brought, if they don't see you, if your booth doesn't catch their eye, then they're not going to come in. And if there's not enough space for people to see your booth as they're walking by because they get distracted by something else, whether it's someone that they came with or maybe another artist or something else that's happening at the event, that's no good for your business. Along with this downside of single booths is the fact that people come in your booth, and if it gets really full of people without any other way for them to exit, that small area, the 10 by 10 foot area in front of your booth, it can get so clogged up with people, especially if you have print bins at the front of your booth, which is what I always do. I always have a print bin at each side of the front of my booth. So I'll have people gathering around each print bin. So then there may be like a 4 or 5 feet area that people can actually get through to walk up to the counter or maybe go to look at other artworks in the booth. So this creates a narrow walkway for people. And then once my booth fills up with 20 or maybe 25 people, it's so packed in there that no one can get out. People who are checking out can't make it past all of the people who are trying to get in, and it gets really clogged up. Traffic flow is awful, and this will stop people from coming into my booth because it's just too busy for them to get into and be able to look through the print bins. And at a very busy show where you have 100 or 200,000 people coming through, you really have to think about this aspect, the traffic flow through your booth. Now, if you're doing really small shows, let's say 1,000 or 5,000 people in attendance, then you don't really have to worry about traffic flow. But my favorite shows to do are the really big shows, and so traffic flow is crucial. And this is why I started doing either a double booth or a corner booth. But among these two options, there is a clear winner. And first, I want to discuss double booths. I love double booths. You get double the time for a person to be able to walk in front of your booth to catch their eye. So instead of 10 feet, you get 20 feet. This can make a huge difference in a show, especially if you're trying to stand out among a lot of other people at the show, a lot of other artists who only get the small 10 by 10 booth. Because if you have double the space, you can really wow people as they walk by. But the negative to this is the setup time and the teardown time and bringing everything to the show, because you have to bring twice the amount of artwork. If it's bad weather outside, you are risking twice the amount of artwork. You also have twice as much to sell, so there are positives along the different inventory levels that you're bringing. But when you have to set up 2 booths and you have to tear down 2 booths, it takes you twice as long. It's a big difference. If you are driving to a show that's several hours from your home during the same day as setup, and then you're having to set up for 6, maybe 7 hours, it makes an extremely long day. So you want to consider this if you're going to get a double booth. The other thing about double booths is that they are usually twice as expensive, or at least 50% more expensive. And sometimes this cost can go up really high at big shows. So this can be prohibitive of making a good profit. And all of these factors considered, that's that's why I love corner booths, and they are my go-to booth space to get if they are available at any event that I decide to do. And this is because you get double the space for people to see you as they walk by. You get the 10 feet on the front, 10 feet on the side. Oftentimes, if you're on a corner, people are walking in from some distance also, so they get to see your booth for a while as they approach. It's excellent for traffic flow because you can have an entrance on the front and on the side to just kind of funnel people through. And they're not as expensive as a double booth. Oftentimes it's only $100, maybe $150 more for a corner booth space. Plus, setup time is the same amount of time as it would take to set up your inline 10 by 10 booth space. You don't have to bring a bunch of extra work and risk it during bad weather or have a really big van to load everything. For me, I use a minivan to load everything for my 10 by 10 booth. It's streamlined, affordable on gas, and my minivan can maneuver around obstacles when setting up and tearing down at the art fairs that a much bigger van or a van with a trailer pulling behind it would have a more difficult time doing. So this is why I always get corner booths. That said, if you're gonna do corner booths, there are a couple of tips that I want to give you that are really going to help you out. First off, it's a good idea to get an awning for your booth. If you have a Flourish trimline tent, you can easily upgrade with an awning. It does cost a little bit more, but it's so worth it because it keeps the sunshine from beating down on the pieces that you have hanging on the outside of your booth. Another thing it's good to have is a half wall or a 3/4 wall. So that way you can put that entrance and exit through the side of your booth. Because if you don't have the capability to put in that half wall or 3/4 wall, then basically your booth will function from a traffic flow standpoint just like an inline booth. You'll still have the great visibility from your outside wall, but if you're going ahead and paying for that corner booth, you might as well get the benefits of the traffic flow because this really makes customers happy. They don't feel like they're getting trapped in your booth. If one entrance of your booth is crammed full of people, they can get in and out the other entrance. And if you'd like some tips for how to set up your art booth on a budget, check out this video. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.